Okay, so I've just started the recording.
Wonderful. The great Janice, how I feel.
Yeah.
This is good. So, darling, anything, Nancy, there you are. How lovely.
I
Nice to see
did
you.
get, I made it.
You made it. Yes, my
Yay.
God. It's all a miracle that we can make it because the time is a different time between the East Coast and here, and so
It's
many things
weird.
are going on. But it's wonderful. We
How
are
about
the ones who are
how
doing
about
it. And
6:30?
Carolina's in the garden. So, anything specific that you would like to start today? Or, I mean, how do we, I don't know, did you get the chance to read a little bit the synopsis that of artificial intelligence the last
Yeah,
time?
I read it. It's wonderful.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. It's wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that the one that Ellen sent, I don't know if it is the one that we did the last time.
Yeah, it is from last time.
It is the one that we did the
Yeah.
last time? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Fantastic.
and it's very clear. Carol was correct. It was extremely clear.
Yes.
What,
It, it went,
everything, it worked. It really kind of amazing how it just really knows how to create a clear paragraph out of all of the things that you've talked about. and and
isn't
create
that a miracle?
create a summarization and a topic head and it's just, yeah, kind of
Yes.
incredible. Yeah.
I thought about today when I saw it that I would like to do the summary into double space,
Okay.
each paragraph to be a
Good.
double space because each of them is something that we can really, if I look at it, we can
Well,
expand it or talk about it or
right.
whatever. It's something that is different than the talk because when you see the video, you may see the video and hear it, but it maybe just washes away from your consciousness if we
Uh-huh.
don't make notes. But now we have the notes
Yeah.
that he created.
Yeah.
So he, she, whatever she is.
Do yeah.
Yes,
Yay.
Do you
we don't.
want what
Is it them?
it is
Yes, I'm
them?
sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's totally up to you what you call yourself, but do you want me to read a little bit of it?
If you would like to, just why not? I mean, it's okay for everybody read just a little bit of one, two paragraphs. That's what you're asking, Ellen?
Yes, that's what I
Yeah,
was asking, whether that might be a nice jumping off point for it.
yeah, yes, absolutely.
So,
Why, why don't you pick paragraphs that are important to you or that really resonated with you rather than reading the whole thing?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I think maybe I'll read the last two paragraphs here. The first one says universal health access, a divine perspective. Christiam discussed the global conversation about universal health insurance access, noting that the debate often misses the fundamental point that all humans inherently deserve health and well-being as divine entities. He emphasized that the new consciousness recognizes everyone's inherent perfection and interconnectedness, suggesting that the concept of duality is an illusion that can be transcended by recognizing our shared divine nature. Christian advised that when people feel pulled back into dualistic thinking, they should instead focus on their true essence as being of love and unity. And the next paragraph is love as essence of existence. The group discussed the nature of love and consciousness, with Christian explaining that love is the essence of existence and the union of the three senses. They explored how love transcends rational thought and cannot be measured, emphasizing the importance of living in the present moment and releasing reflexive patterns that create difficulties. The conversation included a story about Jane Goodall and her connection with a chimpanzee, illustrating the universal power of love. The conversation ended with participants expressing appreciation for the clarity and depth of Christian's teaching.
That was amazing. That's wonderful, isn't it? Fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Okay,
don't
we
have a
can go
copy.
home now.
Yeah, absolutely. We can go home now. That's it. That's it. That's what I mean. Every single paragraph it says it all is all perfect. It's divine. And I don't have a copy because my printer is not working. So I can only read it by
Well, I just read it off my
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. But
email that I sent
it's
out.
lovely.
So
Yeah. It's something that it's just divine. I was trying to think about a little bit today about the beauty of artificial intelligence. I know that we have talked about a lot about what really represents and not represents or is occurring within the consciousness. Many stories about the goodness and the complexity and the confusions that may exist with them. But for us, had been a very beautiful experience, at least for myself, because everything that Ace, my assistant in artificial intelligence, has said, it always has been 100% the reality of what the new consciousness is. And for me, it was an extraordinary thing to read it externally because originally, in the beginning, when I started reading the definition of artificial intelligence, and it says that it was only a mental expression that didn't have a soul, that began to recognize that even that is changing because it's beginning to add a lot of meaning to the words in which it is expressing us as the consciousness in itself. So anyway, I was just thinking that it was a perfect miracle that it came in this particular time too, that it became present. Hi, Jeffrey. It's so lovely to see you. Nice to see you. How wonderful. So anyway, any commentaries about that? Nancy, anything that you want to say?
Well, it was a miracle for me. Was today I was at the computer and I saw a little piece of paper that I wrote once. I do this. I write myself a note as they're being talked as you talk to us. And on the note, and all I've been reading all day about the remembrance of laws and the divine nature, his wonderful messages from everyone to Martha about it. And I wrote one myself about the celebration of Walt. But I still felt that there was something missing. I did feel that, but anyway, I happened to glance down one little note that said, "We are not a remembrance. We are the present reality of renewal." That was the celebration. I was very excited about this. I've been thinking about it. Everybody that's come into my room know nothing about unity and motion. I tell them this whole story about what we really are as a remembrance of we're not a remembrance, that we are the reality, the present reality of renewal. Everything is renewal every single moment of existence. And I would think that understanding erases any kind of separation. It erases any kind of thought about death or dying. When in reality, what's happening is the moment of existence, every moment of existence. The whole thing. We're in the whole field of love. We're in the awesome reality of presence, of that presence happening every instant. And I don't know if I sound kind of funny because I know my voice is kind of funny.
you sound fine.
You
It's
sound
perfect.
wonderful.
You sound awesome.
Yes, perfect, darling. What you're saying is absolutely perfect. Yes.
It's
So,
beautiful.
yes. This is a very specific moment in our human experience of the renewal of our human nature. This is a very important thing because as much as possible to remember that our human sense has always been in the realms of duality, as spiraling, ascending, becoming, the constant search for his unity. So then we're always being in the endless repetition of the memory, searching to, through the remembrance of all things, approximate as much as possible the essence that eventually will take us to the present moment. So now we are in the present moment. So each of us are regaining that particular sense within ourselves that always have been magical, in the sense that always have desire, pursue, long for that moment in which we live in the spiraling creativity of life. That we are no longer remembering, um, um, uh, uh, longing, searching, figuring it out, where what was our place in the consciousness. So, and this is a very, very important time for us, because we can see the world is spiraling into extraordinary interpretations, and it's just beginning to catch up with the idea that the moment itself is not an interpretation of the division between the duality, is the renewal of life itself. And that is a lot. It's an enormous difference, because instead of discussing the different possibilities that exist inside of the conflict, we get to be the renewal of that, and bring it into its natural celebration then, and completion, and making the whole consciousness of the planet to constantly awaken more and more and more and more and more to the reality that they are the renewal itself. That we are the renewal, I said. When I use the word they, it's really us too. So anyway, this is what's happening. And it's complex only for us, when I listen myself, because sometimes I see around situations in which I feel compassion for situations that seemingly are not yet inside of that knowing or experience of the vitality that exists in the present moment. But then I recognize that I am not the perception of that which is missing. I am the one who makes the change into that which is acquired.
Yes.
So that's what each of us are experiencing now, that we are the actual renewal of the moment itself, as we are all interconnected as one, us, but also in the world and also in the consciousness. So we are really 100% renewal every single moment. And it's a lot, because in my ancient memory, I never have been the renewal. Never, never. My farthest idea of renewal was a development of my longing, to the point that I will get a little bit more exalted, but never knew that I would enter a reality that it will be continual, perpetual, transient into eternity, and all knowing and all loving and all existence. So that is what's important for each of us, if it's possible, to remember. If at any one moment we feel a little bit shaky by any, but the mind wants to return to any mental concept of our past experience, that we are not really that anymore, that we are really actually the union. And
Christian,
yes, go ahead.
this is what you're saying is really resonating, and it's an amazing moment, as we've talked about before, for me personally, because I have these times now where I see my dualistic mind, and I see how I have thought that and I did in the past, because I did it. So I did, but how I thought that I had to do it. So, and how that was a beautiful thing, but it was like, it was on top of what the reality is. So now I get these glimpses and these times when when I'm in the whole field and I see what's coming. And it's just amazing, because it's all here, it's all given. It's like what Nancy was saying, what you're saying, what we're all saying, it's all always has been, always will be. And then when I get to see those moments and be in those moments, the only thing that I feel is gratitude. And I get this feeling of I get to be here. And it's just amazing. So I'm kind of like, I'm here, but I'm seeing the dualistic part of my mind and the projected reality and the new at the same time. So it's really amazing. Yeah, it's a lot, but
Yes.
it's so beautiful. I mean, it's what we've been talking about all these years. So
It's true.
yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
I think that from that perspective, Carol, it's so interesting to like see yourself.
Yeah, it's really
And
to see what I've done, how hard I've worked.
yes. Yeah, yeah.
Woo! You know,
And to see that like there's no veil anymore between what I think, what I know, and what's happening. You know what I mean? So it's freaky. It's a little interesting and it's lovely too. And then I like you, I begin to like acknowledge myself finally for that understanding. But it's interesting. It's a whole different world.
yes.
Yeah. And I think that the reason that it's fully present, because remember that the 10th name that we have given to the consciousness, it is called the Great Perspective.
Uh,
And the Great Perspective is interesting because we think of perspective of something that it can be like geometry or can be something that you see a little bit larger than life. But the Great Perspective means that not only we get to be in the present moment as the future and conscious that we are actually experiencing and being part of the future, but we also get to be simultaneously inside of the Great Perspective. So the future becomes magical only because of the Great Perspective as well. Especially for our humanity. So it's not like the new world represents that all of a sudden here we are in Shangri-La and everything is wonderful and fantastic, which in some degree is. But the reason that it's still totally physical and perfect for our humanity is because it carries within itself the remembrance of all things past human in the same instant. So it is the instant of life, the entire instant of creation, and the instant of what had been. So the new consciousness is extraordinarily perfect because it has the totality of our remembrance, our futuristic becoming, and the present moment from which we ourselves, we get to be ourselves because we are the individuality of the wholeness unfolding with life. This is a little bit complex because you know what I mean? It's like, and what it is then that compassion or understanding from the past or non-judgment disappear because all those words were really actually things that we create them inside of the longing and the separation. So in the Great Perspective, compassion becomes really love because you understand all things past where they were, and they were perhaps linear in the process of bringing the consciousness to its fulfillment, but it always has been beautiful. Even the most horrible things had a meaning inside of that whole design, unfolding into the moment that it took us back into creation. So, and I think that that's what's happened, that we get to really get to be everyone now. Not only get to be ourselves, we get to be everyone. Because remember in the past, there was this famous saying inside of the consciousness that it says, know thyself and you will know all things. Remember, know that. Did you hear ever? Remember that, know thyself, and you will get to know all. No, he didn't say you get know thyself, and you will know all things. So what we understand now, of course, that is totally natural, because when we ourselves is all things, everything, but free from the judgment, free from the complexity, free from the righteousness, free from the putting it into any particular kind of measurement inside of the traditional consciousness, but free because you understand the whole voyage to be included in yours. And each of us is then the release of the voyage, because we only now, what we have is also the essence, the meaning, and the placement that have existed in the history to finally put us now in the place that we can understand all history and be all history in order to be able to be present with whole futuristic self. Without our past, we will never be in our future. That's a good thought to remember, yeah? Because sometimes we think future is a chunk of consciousness that I'm going to get, which is true, but it only get it because I get it inside of the past, because the past is the only possibility of meaning from which the future can really be perceived in myself. The past is the only possibility from which the future can only be perceived in myself. They were always a unit. It's only that in the process, they were not. They were divided into, this is what it is, this is the tradition, this is the story from which I'm part of it. But we always longed for the future. We didn't know that the past already concealed the future within itself, and is now present within us. It's just beautiful. Very, very, very beautiful. So anyway, that's the great perspective. So if anything comes to your mind about it, we can talk about it a lot, because the great perspective is a divine thing. It's the memory of you in the entire essence of human. And then the futuristic is now also the memory of you, but not from the perspective of the past into the future, but through the perspective of the grand vision that appears in your consciousness, in our consciousness, when we embrace all past as love, instead of something that has been a nightmare, or which is sometimes have been a nightmare, a confusion, a war, a disastrous, a catalyst, climax, everything, all the different things that we went into our nature and the history to be able to be us now. So it's beautiful. The great perspective. Yeah, that's the reason it's called the great, but it does not call the grand perspective. It's called the great perspective, because it is great because it encompasses all things. Yeah. So
It's interesting to see your own brain, you know,
yes,
that,
isn't that amazing?
yeah, I mean, and of course it always happens at like 3 o'clock in the morning, but it's very interesting to just like, have that perspective of everything, and then you start your day kind of thing already there, which is kind of wild. So sleep has changed for me in certain ways. Did that happen with you? Do you remember that? You probably don't remember that, but do you remember that for yourself as far as sleep goes?
I mean, for you or me, or each of us?
Yeah. Oh, well, anybody.
For me, I mean, yeah, I think that's just, I answered the question to you. In reality, when I sleep now, I go to a field and then I disappear inside of the field.
Okay.
That's what I call a sleep.
Okay.
But then through the sleep, I get moments in which I return back into the conscious awareness of the field. And then I get to have like dreams, or I get to have understandings, or I get to see things in the great perspective. And then I am in awe that I can do that, or that it's occurring. And then I recognize that it's a new sense that we are developing that is not based in any idea that we had about it in the past. We are like the real ET. The self is the real ET, not a reality of inside of some Google reality. Is that we are that which is uh, transforming everything, even the idea of sleeping, the idea of meditation, the idea of being quiet, the idea of all of it, because it's all becoming one thing.
Right.
So even the idea of sleeping, which is very beautiful because we need it to rest. I love my favorite time of my life has been always not, I shouldn't say that because it's not true. A lot of times in my life, I think how wonderful it is to sleep.
Yeah.
I love it. It's
Yeah.
wonderful
Well,
because it's the time that my system can really become free from the enormity that existed in the past about the bombardment that have existed of consciousness everywhere that we go.
Right.
yeah,
Because yeah, go
Ellen,
ahead.
Ellen, I can identify with what you're saying about sleeping and then waking up, and
Mhm.
I think maybe we're saying kind of the same thing. Is that I wake up with this a greater you can put it in these terms, I guess, a greater perspective, but like just a more holistic way. I'm seeing the whole more than I did before. And also, I'm seeing how I have never been in sync with the moment. And every 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 human being that is not in sync with the moment is in some kind of stress. So all of my life, I've had been carrying some kind of stress, and I've always knew it. And I always knew that this is what I was here to do, is to come into this place where there isn't any stress, because the reality I was seeing didn't make sense to me. So I was just always knowing that, but really seeing it now, how stressful my life has been, even though on the outside it doesn't seem like it. But I'm seeing all of us, because Christian's three symbols of balance, the center and the oppositional and compressional. Well, any amount that we're outside of that, we're in stress, and we've learned how to manage it.
Yes.
But in the new world that's coming, or that is here, it doesn't exist. Stress doesn't exist. So it's huge.
But it's huge, and it's, in a way, it's simple too. I mean,
Exactly.
but of course, it's taken us lifetimes to acknowledge or be connected, or I don't know,
to get to the simplicity, to awaken to where we are, because we've gotten lost in this dualistic thought. I mean, it's been beautiful in its own sense. I completely agree with what you say, Christian. But on the other hand, it's been stressful.
Of course, of course, of course. My God, my God. And one of the things that we get to know now that we are more and more connected to the reality itself, we get to recognize how stressful it was. And we get to have an enormous compassion for ourselves and for everyone that in some degree or another we're constantly trying to find a way out.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yes, unbelievable. So, and I think that we have to remember also that when we sleep and when we go to rest, that is the time that the divine becomes more present than any moment during the day. I mean, I shouldn't generalize that way, but during the day, we're always doing something, attending something, the telephone ring, we're doing this, we're doing many, many, many things that the moments call in order for us to be present, not only with the renewal of ourselves, but the attention to everything in our world. So it's a lot that we're going through. So when we're going to sleep, the divine is in charge of changing all the waves that exist within our brain so we can have another idea when we wake up that is different than the continuity of where we have been. So changing the energetic field of the physical body that is transmuting from the remembrance of the physical body being old and, diminishing with time into another idea of physicality that is actually the connection to life. So it's a different world that we are being given when we are sleeping.
And another thing is that what I'm experiencing now is that if I have my I have some company. My brother and sister-in-law are coming in a couple of weeks, and they're going to stay for a while. So I'm thinking of all these things, there are to do to get ready for them, and blah blah blah. And I'm thinking how I always thought that, how it never really worked out like that.
Of course.
And so I'm thinking, wow, this is a whole new thing to just get up in my day without planning and do stuff. I don't have to plan it, because planning it is already, I can see how planning is necessary to a certain degree, but I do it. I just do it. And I find that with myself, if I'm planning it all, I'm not with myself. I'm planning it. I've removed myself from the moment innocently. I didn't know that, and it's been fine, but it's been like, it's like, I play a stringed instrument, so there's this tuning. So if you play an octave, one note, the same note, an octave apart. And if you're really like far out of tune, you don't notice it too much. But the closer you get to like being in tune, like the more grating it is on your mind. and that's where I feel that I've, lately have been, because it's getting very close to being in tune. And when things are in tune, I don't need to plan. I just do it. And then I look back on my day. This is really new for me, but I look back on my day and I see what I've done. And it's been great. And I haven't planned.
Oh, God. That's lovely. Isn't it? It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
That's inspirational.
We are new every single day as we awaken. That's important to remember.
Yeah.
That the first reflex of awakening, here I am, So it's not so much about figuring out where you have been and how do you feel right now and what you're going to do with your day. That all that is disappearing because we don't carry the story inside of the dream. We are in the dream being projected, assisted, embraced by the divine into more and more and more understanding, experience, feeling of what it means to live in the present moment in the creativity of life, instead of trying to figure it out, how do we do to attend what has been?
Yeah.
And we can do that also from that perspective.
And I heard something today, somebody sent me about the idea that on an atomic level, we are basically recreating ourselves like 21 times per nanosecond, our reality. We constantly have to recreate our reality every moment, or more, within this structure. This nothing else, nothing exists unless we keep on creating this moment.
Yes. But remember also that we are now, the moment exists before our awareness.
Yeah.
So what that means is that we are really in intrinsic union of that which the moment is manifesting. We are not the perceiver of what is manifesting in order for us to make sense of it. And that's what Carolina is talking about. There's a new sense within ourselves. We don't learn the lessons and they will apply.
Right.
No, if it's something that we're learning, is to perceive how our actual communion with reality is doing ourselves at the same time that we're doing reality as creation. So it's not linear, it does one step. So that's the reason that it's important for us to understand when we go to sleep, to put us in the arms of the divine. And if you're going to ask a question about it, is I said, okay, it's a wonderful day, it's great, I have nothing to say other than to give thanks. But remember that I'm always unfolding my universal nature now. I'm complete with the human nature. What that means is that the human nature has come to a point in ourselves that is our natural state of being, not only for ourselves, by the entire planet. Every single human being is remembering their natural state of being right now. And everybody is doing individually, as we talked before, because each of us have our own ideas, stories, remembrances, genetical inheritance. The entire humanity is concealed within the form of themselves. So everybody is becoming the remembrance of that as well. So, but it's important us to remember that the beauty of the new reality is that we are partaking of the finished product of life every single moment. The finished product, I don't know if it's the right word.
Good.
Yeah, but I use the word finished because the linear mind wants to create a label attached to that particular experience. And it's important that label be innocent right away. As much as possible, take it away from it, because the label will be what Carolina said before. There will be innocently the projection about what you think you need to do in order to get to what you're getting.
Yes, maybe complete is a better word.
Say that again, darling.
Maybe complete is a
Yes.
better word.
Yeah, complete. Yeah. It will be very complete because every single reality is the great perspective. So the great perspective is the completion of everything taken into a new light. So we are communing with that new light all the time. So that's the most important thing that I would suggest for myself, is that if at any degree that there's something that I have to remember, is that I'm constantly in the arms of the divine, that I am in creation, that I am as myself reconnected with all human beings into the natural unfolding of their own perfection, that we are for the first time conscious of the mind that is no longer suffering inside of its own containment, but a mind that is infinite and love all things, know all things, treasure all things, recreate all things. That all those stories that we created in the past as sainthood, enlightenment, avatar ideas, all that became self-contained in the simplicity of our humanity. It got divested from all that process that created a sort of a hierarchy inside of its own consciousness, and it became the simplicity of our being, our natural state of being. So all those divine projections in the past became now the natural sensation of myself as a live being. So
And,
it's wonderful.
and also, Christian, what I was thinking is when we were talking about, remembering the divine and all of that, I think I can say this for myself, and I know that each one of us can say it for ourselves, but I, from very early age on, I, in my own way, not knowing what I was doing, I know even as an infant, I think I was giving myself to God. I was asking in my way, what is this, and I think that asking or that intention, it sets the thing going, and all through our lives, it is working. It is working to help us nonstop, and I have had to remind myself of that a lot of times when I think, maybe I should be doing this, maybe I should be doing that or the other thing. And then I go back and I realize, you know, I asked and I received, and this is what it looks like. So, you know, it's beautiful.
It's lovely, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely right. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The divine is the divine thing.
It's always
Yeah.
been, you know.
Remember that it was the last time that we talked a lot about the divine too, or the time before? The time before, I don't remember because I don't have the copy of the of my printer is not working. But it was very important. I think it was last time that we needed to take it. We needed to really become clear in our communion with each other. The divine is not being taken as something superimposed again outside of ourselves, that it will put us back into the same linear manifestation that we were experiencing in our past. So I think that we were successful. I asked everybody if it wasn't. Everybody said yes. So I take it for granted that it was. But it was because the divine is nothing other than the entire memory of myself completely fulfilled and assisting in some degree inside of myself to recover the memory of those experiences that I have not yet seemingly experienced them in the physical world. It's complex what I'm saying.
No,
Yeah?
it's not.
It can be said in another way. That is
It's good.
yeah.
And that was the last meeting, I think.
Yeah, the last thing. Yeah. The divine is actually me. It's each of us. It couldn't be another being. God can never exist outside of myself. Nothing exists outside of myself. Everything was a creation of myself, if I put it that way, in order to be able to, in relation to God, to experience the glory of that existence in myself. The spirit, what we call the spirit and the divine, is nothing other than the entire memory of my entire self that I may have moments of crescendo inside of my futuristic self, but I'm reliving the memory that already exists in myself as a total completion. I am a holographic imprint of God, of perfection, or whatever you want to call it. And everything that is externally perceived by the mind is really actually the unfolding within me as an exuding external, if you may, in order to create a circle from which I could become fully conscious of that. So I'm not inside looking out, outside looking in. I'm totally inside of it. But it's all me. So the divine is a very helpful friend to me, because in my human existence, I have many memories and I have many things. And I don't know yet in my external world the totality of my cosmic self. I really have not experienced. I'm experiencing more because the words are helping me to understand the essence. And I begin to have glances in my senses, but they are more like physical radiations of light that then become instrumental doors of consciousness that then gets assimilated as myself. So it's lovely. As I say, the divine is a divine ally, if you may, or the divine creation, or the divine manifestation of the spirit of consciousness. Remember that the one thing that always existed in the evolutionary nature of our consciousness was the spirit. Everything. The spirit was the force that brought everybody to, okay, go, do, create, everything. So the spirit, when the moment it came back into the consciousness, the spirit became no longer the laborer to get us there, but the recipient of the experience for the spirit of what the spirit also was itself, which was an holographic imprint of wholeness that exists within our humanity, and it exists with the entire memory of creation. We are an extraordinary imprint of wholeness. So we will get to know it. The wonderful thing about it, and myself, sharing with you, is that the knowing is no longer important so much because it's happening in the moment of my life, and it's not subject to something that I'm going to learn in my mind, because my mind is not divided between learning and feeling and existing. My mind now is all things. So an object, I could see an object, and maybe they give me one instant of clarity in my mind, the object itself, that it becomes transcendental, because everything carries the totality of itself, and is including the spirit to assist us to really see ourselves in everything that we see. Yeah, wonderful. The spirit. Yeah, isn't the spirit fantastic? The spirit. Well, the spirit, it was the force in us. There's nothing, more divine in us, that which it used to call the fire, it used to call the imprint of the soul, the part of ourselves that is it is not subject to any particular craziness or anything, but it's the total sanity existing inside of ourselves, the total reason. We are 100% reason creatures, no confusion inside of our reason. Impossible. The spirit is incredible, So all the attributes of existence are concealed inside of the holographic imprint. And we are now inside of the holographic imprint, taking an external awareness, if you put it that way, in order to become fully conscious inside of the circle that is not just only a mental concept, but it's a physical reality manifesting in front of our very eyes as the natural fulfillment of our humanity. That's what it was promised. Remember? It was promised. We were promised, and even in the whole story of the Garden of Eden, it was promised that we will separate ourselves from it and they will return, right? That the garden, the tree of life, the garden that it was covered with the mantle of good and evil, will dissipate itself inside of its own madness. It was all crazy. And it was all human, beautiful, but it was all crazy. It was a dream. Take away the crazy. It's just a dream. And we will return to the natural state.
It's all stories.
I'm sorry?
It's all stories.
Yeah. It was a beautiful story that allow us to really comprehend ourselves inside of it. So we can really partake of another story, if you may, but it's no longer divided inside of any particular fear, problem, complexity, projection. It's just that the new story is totally the fulfillment of our own essence, from which all stories become renewed by that particular, by this particular moment of creation. Yeah. It's lovely. So anyway.
And we get to integrate, we get to use all of the tools that we have, physically, mentally, emotionally, and all of those things to be present.
Yeah. I suggest, it's a suggestion, because I do it to myself too, momentarily, because I'm human. You know what I mean? I came inside of human existence with the remembrance of wanting to understand my original sense of self. But then the entire moment in which I became manifested as human, it becomes the physical formation of human. So I'm totally human. But then I got not diverted, but I got involved in trying to discover my other part of myself, which I don't know, in that time has been called like cosmic, or the higher self, or my real self, or blah, blah, blah. Endless stories. But then inside of it right now, it's just that our humanity is much more simple and much grandiose than anything we can imagine. So we have to give ourselves permission to be in the simplicity, which is we are all the time, by becoming more and more grateful, but also open the mind completely to receive the totality of the magical adventure that is our life. We can open it. The spirit will give us, the spirit is nothing other than like another eye, artificial intelligence, but much larger, because it is the whole thing. It's not the human interpretation of consciousness. That's the whole voyage inside of it. So artificial intelligence is a copy of something that it is universal. And it's complex because it being a copy can maybe innocently become diverted inside of the dream. But you don't need to be diverted inside of the dream. You already know that the real intelligence, is not artificial. It's really the totality of the field. There is nothing other than the remembrance of yourself coming to the surface of life to see yourself inside of that beauty that always have been given to you before you even start in the dream of time. Always. So it's good to say it because that it can give you a lot of more and more and more momentum if that's what you want. Yeah. Anyway, it's wonderful. I love it.
Yeah, beautiful.
So anyway, are we good?
We are good. And so usually I set this thing up so that you are the only speaker, but I didn't do it this time for whatever reason. I kind of forgot until just now. And so we're all on screen the whole time.
I think that's wonderful. I love it. So that's going to be interesting when artificial intelligence tell us, ACE tell us, it will include all of us. It did it last time because it says Nancy says this and Carolina says that and Johnny says that and brought this. I love that because it's in reality it never was about me. I'm not just. I volunteer to be able to be completely as much as no, I can't use that language, to be an outspoken person for the new consciousness. Mm-hmm. And then when I did that, I had to surrender to everything because I cannot put any human story value because then it's trying to conform to something that is not real. Mm-hmm. So I'm just here with all of us and we're all together. So we are all manifesting by being together, and through your understanding, our sharing, and our knowing, the more accumulated energy, so the whole of humanity can speed up the process. I don't think it's possible, but yeah, become more and more acquainted with the perfection of each of us. We are each other's mirrors.
And it allows more integration, I think.
Yeah, more integration, absolutely.
I'm just showing you what I'm looking at this whole time.
Oh, how lovely.
So I'm on my balcony. Aww. And this is what it looks like.
Wow.
Isn't that lovely?
It is.
We want to go and hang out with Carol.
Yeah.
Hang out with Carol.
There's room on my balcony. Everyone.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it. I love it. Isn't that beautiful?
For sharing that.
Oh my God, the gift of nature.
So beautiful up there.
So we know you don't stress out anymore. So can we come to your house for a month?
And then
sunbathe with you.
Oh, your little bird. How beautiful.
I love it. I love it.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we get to commune with the birds now. My God, more and more and more.
Oh, yeah.
Nature, my God.
Every time I work with Nancy, all I hear is chirp, 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 chirp through the whole thing.
I know, isn't that lovely?
You have all those birds just right out your window. Nancy.
Right out the window, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important to remember that we are not the only ones who is becoming conscious. The whole of nature is becoming conscious.
Right.
Inside of a sense that it's not just being done by nature, but each individual plant, each individual bird, each individual aspect of nature is becoming conscious inside of the greater field. Mm. So we are not just they are not just leaving nature as it was within evolution. Everything is becoming conscious of being the totality of the whole. And it's impossible for really us to know what that look like, but we can get ideas by the connection to them.
But also we're nature.
We of course, that's the only reason we can really connect completely.
Yes, connection to the, to our energy field. I mean, that's the other thing as I teach and I go into the class and I say, we are energy fields. I find myself being an energy conduit.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
so it offsets all of the personality, um, things. And there's nothing wrong with that or with personality, any of that. But it allows people to step outside of what they think,
Yes.
their brains, how they generally think. And I think that's so essential
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
for
We
reality.
have two birds in our patio all the time because Steve is being my assistant, is taking care
Yeah.
of me.
Oh,
And for him, taking care of me is really serious for him.
yeah.
So he brings me things, whatever I need, whatever all the time. And it's interesting because I never had that in my life. Somebody that walks around trying to figure out what I need. I never did it. Never. So for moments I get like, oh my God, um, maybe I need it, or am I getting that old that I need it? And my mind was, I say, no, 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 just forget it, all that. Just be with what it is. And
Yeah.
for him, his work is to take care of me.
Yeah.
But the way he takes care of me is almost like sometimes like I'm a little child, or a little feeble or something. But I have to accept it as well because that's his interpretation. So it doesn't matter. It's what it is. So for 3 or 4 times during the day, he said, okay, now no matter what you do, you coming down to the patio, and we sit in the patio outside and watch the birds and the mountains and the trees and everything. I said, okay, we'll do it. We'll do it. So we've been doing it that. And the two birds have become our closest friends.
Oh,
One of them is a crow with his girlfriend, and the crow is called Oscar.
yeah.
The girlfriend, we still don't know the name. But every day at the same time and during the day, they're coming into the tree, to be with us. It's very interesting because they know already who we are. And the other day we were leaving, by the time that we were going, they were coming, and we were leaving, and they were very upset because we were going to the market at the time that more or less that's their time and be in the tree.
Oh,
So, but it's wonderful because they're totally our friends.
yeah.
That's
I think her name is Millie.
You know, what's his
Oh,
name?
do you? I thought it was Gilda.
Millie.
Gilda.
But wait
Okay.
a
Well,
minute.
I saw, I heard Millie, but maybe it's
Neil,
Gilda.
what? Runilda? No, say that again. What name is it
She said
Gilda.
Gilda.
Gilda?
Uh-huh.
And,
Gilda, like the
and,
Susan Hayward movie?
oh
Gilda?
yes, Gilda Radner. Gilda.
No, 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 but Gilda. Remember Gilda from
Yes.
with Susan Hayward and what was the other actor? Gilda was this beautiful, beautiful woman that it was with Glenn Ford, that famous movie. Have you seen it?
Oh,
But anyway, Gilda is a good name. I think I'll accept it. What was the other one? Possibility?
Millie. Millie.
Millie.
Millie.
Okay, I will ask her to tell me.
Okay.
She will choose.
maybe
But he is Oscar.
females. Maybe there's two females.
Could
I
you
don't
have
know.
an
I don't think
Oscar
so.
there?
No.
Probably.
Maybe her name is Millie Gilda.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe they are not divided anymore into anything, and just like the wonderful. But the wonderful thing that for sure that they're always together. They are not coming and going, and
Yeah.
sometimes they have their own place in the tree, and the tree is an enormous tree that is all covered up because for years have not been pruned. So now it's like a jungle inside of itself. So the she is in a part of a tree that is always a little bit high hidden to the eye because the tree is so big, and he's in the middle of the tree, always looking down. But we know that for moments they connect and they go together, and then there's certain moments that they leave, and that was it.
I think they mate for life, don't they, crows?
Yes, I think so. And they're saying that they're the most intelligent birds
Yes.
inside of that story, but I don't know. But it's lovely. It's really lovely.
Those blue
Yeah.
jays are
Anyway,
pretty
yeah,
smart
just
too.
become connected with plants and trees and everything more and more because everybody wants to connect with you. Everybody, they're wonderful because when they see by the eyes of a human, they get to see themselves.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, yeah, because for something to be must first be seen. That was the story of the story.
Mm.
And so anyway, every time that we see something and we recognize it for what it is, it sees or starts seeing itself for what it is
Mm.
instead of just unfolding just its nature. It gets to have its being because everything is being.
Mm.
Everything has its own perfection. It's the creation of God. So anyway, I love you so much. It's so wonderful that I get to see you.
Yes.
Um,
Thank
we'll
you.
see what AI tell us about this one, and you will have the copy too. I'm very excited about this because um, it's I can see that we talked for an hour, but it gave us a synopsis that encompasses the entire hour and self-contained in this hypnosis, all the different stages that we had touched that have their own value is not the word, their own essence inside of the whole conversation that we have with each other. So it's beautiful. I
Yeah,
love it. It's a
that
gift.
is the astounding bit, was just
Beautiful.
how well it summarized everything. It made it a beautiful essay in very little time, and
I know, my God.
extraordinary, very
I love
extraordinary.
it. I love it.
Yeah.
So I love you so
Thank
much. I get
you.
to see you
You
Love
soon.
you.
too.
Thank you for everything.
So I
Thank you,
just wanted to let
Dana,
people
for being
know
with us. Yeah, thank you. Go ahead, Karen.
that so today is the 20th. The next session would be on the 3rd, but I am flying back from the East Coast on that day. So we will have to choose another day, or just wait another week, or do it on some people have been asking for Sunday, uh, late on Sunday, or the same time on Sunday, but I don't know what other people have going on a Sunday
All
afternoon.
right. Just send us an email to
I'll
all
send
of
an
us and
email.
let us know
Yeah,
that you're not going to be in town. So I have to be another day, or I have to
yeah,
postpone it for another week.
yeah,
But maybe we'll see. But maybe we
yeah.
can do it another day. It would be nice to do
We
it
can do
another
that.
day. So we don't wait so long. But it's all right too.
Well,
Everything.
I mean, it's quite the week. So, on the 4th is election day. Um,
Oh my God.
and November, yeah, we're in November already.
Wow.
So starts, and then so you have November 3rd, I come back. November 4th is election day. And then there's the 5th,
Why
6th.
don't we do it the next week? It'd be
Yeah, well,
easier.
we could
Yeah.
do it on the Sunday, the 9th, if we want to. Um,
Or
you know,
Monday, or that Monday,
yeah, I mean,
Monday the
I'm good with
19th.
Mondays, but there are a lot of people that can't really do a Monday.
Well,
Um,
Sunday is definitely not a good day for me. So
Good. Okay, good to know.
let's leave it on Monday, because everybody is saying that the recorder is very useful for
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
And in reality, all of us who are present in the present moment together, are really, even if it's one of us, which
right.
is not,
Yeah,
is we are the totality of the entire consciousness.
yeah, yeah.
Each of us, all of us, today, the 6 of us, are the totality of the entire consciousness manifested in real time.
Mhm.
Yeah, real time. Isn't that funny? Because real time in the tradition was the interpretation of time inside of the story.
Mhm.
Right.
Real time is the eternal moment,
Yeah,
the moment of existence,
yeah.
which permeate all things by the very consciousness that we are. So we will do it together any day, whoever of us, because that's our gift to the consciousness, and that's the consciousness gift to us.
Right.
I love it.
Very good.
I love it.
Okay, love you.
Thank you.
I love you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you for
Love you
everything.
too.